Hey friends, this is Angela from Art of Creation Homestead. You're in the kitchen with me again, and it's Christmas time, so we're going to start making some Christmas cookies. You guys know I always bring you lots of Christmas treats, and over this next week, you are probably going to see a few more videos than normal because I'm going to start putting out a lot of Christmas treat videos for you guys. So, I hope you don't mind that, but what I'm going to do today, I'm going to show you how to make Spritz cookies. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. If you have, you know how delicious they are. If you haven't heard of them, they are very small little cookies that are delicate and buttery and lightly sweet. They're not overly sweet. They're lightly sweet and just so buttery and delicious. But there is one thing about them. You do need special equipment. You guys know I try my best not to give you guys recipes that require special equipment, but this does require special equipment. That's why I'm putting this out early, that way you have time to get one of these if you want to do them. It requires this thing. This is a cookie press. If you've never seen one, you put your dough in the canister. I'll show you how to use it later. When we get to that part, I'll show you how to use it. And then you have little, what they call die on the end. See? That one looks like a Christmas tree. And you can change out the die. They come with multiple die. And that will make the shape of your cookies. It will like squirt it out in the shape of that. And I will leave a link, an Amazon link to a cookie press. The ones they have are a little more expensive. This one, my sister got this for me for Christmas years ago. I know it's been over 10 years ago, and I've been in love with making Spritz cookies since then. This one, I think she got it at Walmart, and I did look for you guys at Walmart on their website. Walmart still has this type. Even though this is over 10 years old, Walmart still has this type. I will leave a link to on Amazon for one, but you can also just run down to Walmart and grab one of these. These are not that expensive. Now the ones on Amazon are a little more pricey. This one right here is not that expensive. So you can easily run to Walmart and grab one of these. So now let's get started on this recipe. Now you guys know that I normally, for videoing purposes, use a hand mixer because you guys can't see in the bowl really well with the stand mixer. You can use a hand mixer for this very easily. My hand mixer is on the Spritz right now, but I've had it for many years, so I can't complain. It has 6 speeds and only about 2 of them work now, so I need to get a new one. So I'm going to be using my KitchenAid. If you have a KitchenAid, I will tell you this puppy will make making these Spritz cookies a lot easier. So in this bowl, we have 3 sticks, which is 1.5 cups, of softened, room temperature, unsalted butter. And see, you know it's room temperature and softened because when you push on it, it leaves your fingerprints. Now, if you didn't lay it out in time and it's not softened enough, pop it into your microwave for about 10 seconds. It'll soften nicely. So now, to this 3 sticks of butter, yes, 3 sticks, I'm adding 1 cup of granulated sugar. Apparently we have a little bit of humidity in the house because there was a little bit of sugar stuck in the bottom. So now you want to whip this up until it's nice and creamy. Now I'm going to scrape down my bowl and my paddle because it's almost there. But I also wanted to tell you, I really don't recommend using margarine for this. But this recipe has so few ingredients that the quality of the ingredients really matters. When you have so few ingredients, and when this is basically kind of a butter cookie, you want good quality butter. You don't have to use really expensive stuff. It just so happened that the grocery store that I shop at had European butter on sale for a really good price, for cheaper than regular butter. So this is European style butter, which it has about 82% butter fat content. So you're gonna have a lot more butter fat in there, which equals a lot more flavor. But you don't have to use European style butter. You can just use regular unsalted butter, whatever brand you like the best. But like I said, I wouldn't really recommend margarine. Now I'm gonna let this keep going until it's more creamy. Now it's nice and creamy and it's lightening color just a tiny bit. Now we're going to add 1 large egg, and we are going to add 2 tablespoons of milk. Just 2 tablespoons. I know that sounds weird, but it's just 2 tablespoons. Now we are going to add 2 teaspoons, roughly measured, because you know me, I don't measure vanilla, of vanilla extract. Again, very few ingredients. I do recommend the best quality you can get. The next ingredient is optional, because I know some of you have expressed that you don't like almond extract. I happen to be an almond extract freak, so I love almond extract and the almond flavor in anything. I am adding 3/4 of a teaspoon. You have to be very careful with almond extract. It's very strong. It can overpower anything. So I do measure that. If you do not like almond extract, just leave it out. Or you can add any extract of your choice. You can add lemon, butter flavored extract, coconut, orange, anything you want. Or you can just go with the vanilla and not worry about another extract in it. But I personally like the little hint of almond. Now we're going to beat this up until it's all incorporated. Now at this point, you're probably going to get a little nervous because it's almost going to look curdled. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Now over here we have our dry ingredients. This is 3.5 cups, and yes, it makes a lot of cookies. Yes, this makes a ton of cookies. So this is 3.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and just a little pinch of salt. Now, as you guys know, I always put my flour mixture on wax paper, especially when I'm using my KitchenAid, because I can use the wax paper as a funnel to funnel in my dry ingredients. Now, you don't want to add this all at once. You don't want to overwhelm the mixer. So I added in about 3 increments. So I'm going to add in about 1/3 of my dry ingredients. And try not to lose any. And I'm going to turn it on. Be sure and start it on low, because you don't want to be covered in flour. And mix that in. Now I'm going to scrape down my bowl. Make sure I get all that first installment of flour in there. I'm going to scrape that down, get all that flour in there. Make sure everything's incorporated. And now I'm going to add my second third. Scrape it down again. And add my last installment. I'll show you what it looks like when we're there. Now, I've got it off the mixer, and I'm doing one last scrape down, and this dough is very stiff now. Very stiff. So you're going to notice it's a little harder to scrape because it's a very stiff dough at this point. Now, a lot of Spritz cookie dough requires at least a 3-hour chill in the refrigerator. This one is a no chill. This one does not require any chilling. So you can go ahead and go to the fun part of pressing them out and decorating, which indeed is the fun part. Now, as you can see, we've got a great big dough ball in there. I have to tell you, if you are a cookie dough eater, this is an amazing tasting cookie dough. I wouldn't recommend eating it with the raw egg in it if you are using store-bought eggs. But like I've told you guys many times before, I know these chickens personally. I know they don't have anything wrong with them, so it doesn't bother me. So now we will move on to the next step. Okay, now we're going to get started on loading the press and get started on decorating and baking. Now, I am using a half sheet tray. You can just use plain cookie sheets, that's fine. Normally I have parchment on my stuff. You do not want to use parchment or a Silpat or a nonstick, anything on it when it comes to Spritz cookies, because you kind of rely on the dough when you push it out in the gun, you kind of rely on it sticking to your tray in order to keep from it coming back up with the cookie press when you lift the cookie press. You will see what I mean in just a minute. So you do not want to line it with parchment. Now, the downside of that, you do have more dishes to do. You have more cleanup to do, but it's worth it. So now I will show you how to load a cookie press, for those of you who may not know. Okay, now I'm back after a little hiatus. We had a little issue, just a little issue. If you were paying close attention to the cookie press I was showing you before, you will notice that this one is different. I started pressing my cookies, and my 13-year-old cookie press broke. Wah, wah, wah. So, my lovely husband, who I am blessed to have, went on his lunch break from work and got me a new cookie press and came home at lunch to bring it to me. I am a truly blessed woman. So this one is actually pretty cool. I have new dye to deal with too. And I'm really excited about that because I also have a snowflake and a poinsettia and a snowman and all these really cool Christmas ones to deal with now. So this is, as I showed you, there's a Christmas tree. So now I'm going to unscrew the top, pull out the plunger, and now we are going to load our cookie dough. So I was showing you how to do this before, but that video has been deleted. The video of my cookie press breaking has been deleted now. So now we're going to roll this into a tube. I had to put my dough in the refrigerator, so it's a little cold. If you have to do that, just let it warm up a little bit. It'll be fine. Now we're going to drop it in the tube, and we are going to put the plunger in it, and we are going to screw on the top. Now, different models will work different ways. You will go according to the package directions for yours. I know now for sure Walmart does have them because that's where Jason stopped to get me this one. Now, you'll want to keep pushing until you see the dough compacted in your tube, and until you see it starting to push out the bottom of the die. Okay, you just want to set your press down, and you want to push. As you can see, I've already done some to get the hang of my new press. One click equals one cookie. And I will give you a little piece of advice. If your dough seems a little too stiff, just work in just a tiny bit more milk. So in the instructions, I will put 2 to 4 tablespoons of milk, because a lot of times it depends on how dry your house is and everything like that. And see, now you've got a perfect pan of little Christmas trees. And now, before I switch dye, I'm going to go ahead and decorate them. You can decorate them any way you want. I'm just going to do a little bit of colored sugar on them. Just sprinkle just a little bit of colored sugar because I like the colored sugar on them. You can decorate them however you want, nonpareils, sprinkles, anything you like. Just decorate them the way your heart desires. Like I said, I tend to like the colored sugars on them. You can, excuse you, cookie press. You can do them any way you like. And once you get them all decorated, see, now you can turn your pan up because they're stuck on your pan really good. You can turn your pan up. You can turn your pan up like this and knock off the excess sugar. That way it doesn't burn in your oven. Now you will pop these in to a 375 degree preheated oven. until they are lightly, just teeny bit golden brown around the edges, because you don't really want these to brown. These are going to be very buttery yellow in color. You don't really want them to brown. I'll show you what they look like when they're done.
And here's the result right here. Now these, as you can tell, these worked out really well. But then Angela's cookie press broke again. So this is what you get after that. You make do because you don't have the ability to get another cookie press. So you make do and you make what we're going to call ugly Christmas sweater cookies. Right? Angela just rolled them out into a log and cut them out that way and baked them that way, and they're actually really good. We may actually like them a little bit better because they're a little thicker. See? They're a little thicker and they got good texture. These are really good with a cup of hot chocolate. Alright, so that's what we got. I'll show you this up close really well here. So you got this one, right? That's good. You got this one that turns out really nice, right? That's nice and petite. Little cute little guy, right? Yeah, okay, sure. But you get more cookie here. And then Angela did some like this. She just took all of her sprinkles and all the Christmas designs that she had and mixed them up together and rolled them and rolled the logs in them and cut them out, which I thought was pretty smart. She made do with what we had, because at that point this is all we could do, and we didn't really want to throw the dough away because you're wasting all those ingredients and all that time. And they still make cookies, it just they couldn't be pressed out, and that's just how it's going to happen sometimes. Honestly, those plastic cookie presses that you get at Walmart, they're kind of touch and go. You don't know what you're getting out of them. And the one Angela had was older, maybe a little better built because it lasted longer. This new one, not so much. It broke pretty fast. So it was really difficult to get anything out of, but we still made do with it. And that's how you make Spritz cookies, and it's a really good cookie dough recipe as well. So there's a lot of things you can do with them. You could dip these in chocolate. You could sprinkle stuff on top of them. You could press them out, cut them out into shapes, and then sprinkle stuff on top of them. Make some really good ugly Christmas sweater cookies. But this is just what we had, and Angela did a great job of making do in her current situation, which sometimes is what you have to do in the kitchen. It don't always work the way you want it to work out, and there's nothing you can do about it sometimes, so just make do with what you can. Angela K did a great job doing so, and these are delicious cookies. I've been munching on them all day. So, sometimes you gotta make do and make some good dang cookies. So, thank you guys so much for watching. We do appreciate it. My name is Jason, the smart one who's been baking. Not bacon, B-A-C-O-N, but B-A-K-I-N-G, right? The smart one has been baking all day. Her name's Angela K. This is Art of Christian Homestead. We love y'all. God bless you and goodbye.